I'm on a full-blown expedition to go to different corners of Mumbai to watch the Nivin Pauly movie and the last week released Surya movie, so bear with me as the reviews will go live as soon as possible. But on just a completely different topic, isn't Mamita Baiju having an absolute dream run that most young actors dream about? I feel like this is what Srilila had wished and hoped for when she got signed on to so many Telugu projects. Mamita has the Midas touch at this point, and I can't wait to see both of these movies, but I think just like the Matlab Kuch Bhi series, it has been a while since we have done an unpopular opinions episode. This is not going to be a sugar-coated episode, not the ones that you usually associate with me essentially playing it safe, but I think I'm going to be really blunt today about certain popular remarks in this episode that may make you write something extremely nasty against me. This is just to preface that these are all opinions on movies and actors. If you disagree with me, please talk about it in the comment section below and let's try to have a civil discussion about it if we can. Please don't leave me because of the opinion shared on this episode. This is a safe space, and before I fully no holds barred style do expand on my unpopular opinions this episode, I want you to just cold turkey without any reference to my remarks. Give your unfiltered unpopular opinions that come right at the top of your head. No filter, just say it with chest. Trust me, this is going to be a fun comment section to be a part of. God forbid, if no one agrees, you can simply take the stance of Saif Ali Khan from Love Aajkal.
Look, आप मुझे नहीं समझते और मैं आपको नहीं समझता. Correct? But that's fine.
There is nothing better than that. So getting right into it, here is Tried&Refused Productions with 10 unpopular Indian movie opinions you will hate me for. Malayalam cinema's thriller pattern is concerning. One of the most beautifully crafted thrillers from Malayalam cinema that I have seen in recent years is Kishkinda Kadam. This tale was atmospheric, it immersed you into the world of the characters, and it laid heavy emphasis on world building. The tale did an absolutely spectacular job in misguiding you throughout the film. It familiarized you with the family dynamic but cleverly reveals for you to be manipulated all along, culminating beautifully into a climax that ties all the dots together. What happens with this structure is that there is a lot of pressure for the climax to be this big jaw-dropping moment. For this, every single element that has misdirected you needs to be done with conviction, and the screenplay essentially needs to be sprinkled with ordinary acts that don't have significance now but have the weight in the climax. This pattern cannot work all the time, and I have noticed that since Kishkinda Kadam, many Malayalam filmmakers are heavily relying on the same pattern for you to have such indulgent world building, conversations that highlight character traits for so long that the payoff needs to be so earth-shattering that one needs to feel that the slow burn was worth it. And this, I believe, is concerning because all writers will not have the precision that was successfully being pulled off in Eco or Balan, two extremely small, efficient but clever films. There are going to be cases like what happened with Drishyam 3 where the epic climax just falls flat and does not have shock value, making you believe that the indulgent world building was not really worth it. Thrillers are of different forms with diverse screenplays and can be celebrated while having their distinct identity, and I think that many Malayalam thrillers are following the pattern of Kishkinda Kadam, not realizing that it cannot always lead to unanimous jaw-dropping reactions. That lightning in a bottle moment cannot be recreated again and again. मैं वापस आऊंगा and its climax. You know, when I said that I have unpopular opinions that are going to be ruffling feathers, I mean it. I am touching मैं वापस आऊंगा, that is so beloved. If you have not seen it already, I will put the timestamp here for you to skip to the next point because we will be talking about the climax. Naseeruddin Shah is absolutely brilliant in this movie, and we build up to the moment where Keenu wants a last glimpse of Jia. I know that Naseeruddin Shah is dealing with memory loss. What he craves for essentially is to look at Jia as he remembered her, asking for permission to leave, a consistent thread that has always been associated with their meetings. What we see in the movie is that Diljit Dosanjh is notified that Jia or Afsana has passed away and he is greeted by her sister-in-law. The only thing remaining of the memory of Jia as we know is the painting where she still wears that one earring as the young Keenu remembered. I get it, Naseeruddin Shah is in such a mental state where it's the young Keenu wanting a final look of Jia he remembered. But I just thought, No matter how convenient or too good to be true it is, the conclusion of Diljit Dosanjh entering that house and a regal Wahida Rahman sitting still getting ready in the afternoon, assuming that Keanu will come one day, would have been so beautiful. Imagine the frame of the FaceTime call being on Wahida Rahman and Nasiruddin Shah being confused because he can't recognize this face. Imagine immediately after the camera just panning to the back into a wide shot with Wahida Rahman revealing the one earring she still wears and it being right in front of her own portrait as a young Jia. The image would convey so much. Trust me, I love the climax of the movie, but I just could not stop thinking about a regal and beautiful Wahida Rahman who would have, just like Jia, given him permission to leave. There would be no closure because they will not end up together, but a last goodbye by an aged Jia versus it being imagined in the painting would have been exceptional for me. Personally, the chosen one trope needs to go. Have you ever sat through a movie and you are locked in, you are so invested and you start to look at your imaginary friends? I mean, I start to look at my imaginary friends because I watch these movies at the butt dawn and start exclaiming that the makers may have cooked. I post a tweet during the interval thinking this may just be brilliant, and the second half starts. And the quest for revenge is just not enough for the filmmakers. The lead character being a messiah just is not cutting it for the filmmakers. So what do? They go for the most generic chosen one BS. But at this point of time, genuinely, it's getting tiring. I believe the downfall of movies like Kingdom and Retro was primarily because they convolute the film for no goddamn reason and make him this image that was prophesized for generations. The chosen one trope has been utilized in many films well. I mean, literally, the template of most Telugu commercial movies is a lead character who is an outsider only for strangers to give the speech of "Tum jante ho wo kaun hai." But this template being applied across so many star-led movies just needs to stop. Every movie cannot have the build-up and payoff of Salar, so forcibly integrating this written in the stars trope, this purpose that was fate essentially for generations, needs to just be abandoned. Pari and its horror lore deserves more love. In reflecting on the career that Anushka Sharma has had, many people reference her fiery performance in Band Baja Bharat, the conviction she brought to Arfa in Sultan, or even the grit and resilience she brought to NH10. But a movie that she co-produced that is often slept on is Pari, and this is a movie that I believe is extremely underrated, especially looking at the resurgence of horror we are currently seeing. I think in the current atmosphere, this film would have received way more love compared to its reception in 2018. A satanic cult called Aulad Chakra ensures that Ifrit and his bloodline lives on, impregnating women by summoning demons so that the evil progeny never perishes. A vigilante in the form of Professor Qasim Ali ensures that such targeted women are freed by beheading their newly born cursed babies. But the satanic cult pursues their goal in ensuring Ifrit and his lineage causes carnage among mortals, transforming it to the netherworld. The story of a child in the form of Ruxana and Qasim Ali's quest to finish her forms a large portion of the film. I believe a lot of why the film does not land is the amount of time we spent in Ruxana and Arnab's odd but endearing relationship and a triangle love story that emerges near the climax. The cute moments somewhat offset the dread of horror. The film is not perfect in any way, with many isms of Anushka's performance being slightly funny too, but the lore of Ifrit is so damn creepy and dark that I believe it barely got any love from the audience. Lakshya has zero expressions and Ananya fared way better. I was rewatching snippets from Chand Mera Dil again as I was doing a piece on the death of romantic comedies and dramas in Hindi cinema, on how the depth of romantic dramas just don't get into the feels anymore, and when some movies in the genre do well, they cross all the lines of logic and morality, in the process becoming peak matlab kuch bhi material. But my conclusion after Chand Mera Dil actually had nothing to do with the film and its themes, but it was more to do with the performances. And I say this with utmost earnestness. Ananya Pandey is emotionally bare and vulnerable and is way better than Laksh in this movie. Laksh looks great and he has a brilliant command on the Hindi language, but in this movie, his dialogue delivery is tough to decipher. In moments of anguish, a lot of his words get muddled, and most importantly, in a spectrum of emotions that range from being ecstatic, happy, or grieving with pain, Laksh is not able to have the appropriate expressions for those emotions. I felt that this may be just a part of his role in Bads of Bollywood, but it translates here too, where there is almost a deadpan expression through a range of emotions. I don't know whether this is exclusive to me, but it especially stood out upon rewatching this movie. Method acting and its hatred. We live in a generation where there is almost a casualness when it comes to life, a pessimism when it comes to how people approach life, and especially in social media, when we see people being extremely sincere about something, we already assume it to be a lie or PR. We have become so convinced in believing that everything is manufactured that any news of an actor going out of his way, especially the method way to get into the skin of the character, is mocked and ridiculed, even by actors themselves. When news broke out about Ranveer Singh getting into a dark space because of Alauddin Khilji, actor Prashant Narayanan mocked it for being all exaggerated BS. When Nawazuddin Siddiqui spoke about locking himself in a hotel room for Raman Raghav for weeks, an actor like Akshay Kumar ridiculed such extreme processes. Rajkumar Rao has spoken about how convinced he was while getting into the skin of the character like Omerta, so much so that he got convinced of some of the disturbing psychological thoughts of the character. I believe, like any other technique for art forms, method acting is also a means to get immersed into a character, and if it works for some, then why do we need a reason to dunk or mock it? Pattinson had once spoken about how the interesting part of the method is how actors only do it when they play horrible characters.
I say about people who do method acting, you only ever see people doing the method when they're playing an
But when I see a Randeep Hooda who for his unreleased film Saragadi had fully embraced Sikhism and still carries on his seva or social service to this day with his Sikh brothers, I believe the spectrum for both good and bad can be employed with the method approach. Method एक जरिया है कुछ लोगों के लिए, and I think we've normalized mocking anything done with sincerity because we are convinced that everything is a lie. Rakhi Sawant does kayfabe right. There is a concept called kayfabe in wrestling. It's essentially the practice of presenting staged or scripted events such as character rivalries, plot lines, and match outcomes in professional wrestling as if they were completely real. So you will find wrestlers, even in interviews and interactions with fans, still playing characters versus ever letting their guard down. We as kids were so convinced of these wrestlers being their characters that we genuinely thought that the characters of Kane and The Undertaker were brothers. This would keep the mystery around the real personalities alive and the audience consistently curious. This is what I feel an icon like Rakhi Sawant does so well, and is one of the main reasons why she is still so relevant even after spending over 25 years in the industry. The woman essentially takes up these exaggerated characters, says the wildest statements, becomes a meme for social media, and waits for her next opportunity or performance to repeat the same cycle.
खुशी क्या है? मैं तो एक जिंदा लाश हूँ.
This is a woman who has consistently pivoted as the industry has evolved. From a backup dancer, actor, reality TV show star, the girl has done every medium possible and is so entertaining that whenever the ratings of Big Boss drop, they often invite her as a wild card just because she is so damn entertaining.
अभी तक का क्या मतलब है?
और आगे भी मतलब
नहीं, मैं क्या कब्र में चली गई क्या?
What I think especially works for her is that we never really get to know who Rakhi is. She is this over-the-top character consistently we tune in for every time. She has something wild to say every time. It's the only reason she is still relevant and a modern-day philosopher in my eyes.
He should apologize. Who? कौन apologize? कौन माफी मांगे तुझसे पागल? एड़ी?
Is Johnny Master the only choreographer? I was watching the new single from Jailer 2. What's hilarious is that in the promo of the song, they literally used a shot where the dancers in the first line are messing up the choreography. It has to be absolutely bonkers in my eyes that the music video gets shot, goes to the editing table, and gets approved and packaged, and one can't make out that in the first row of dancers there is such a hilarious mess up. The song Beyond the Beautiful Expressions of Shamna was bang average, as all the heavy lifting was done by the women, and as Rajnikant did his best impression of John Abraham walking around a club as Nora Fatehi dances. I wonder what compels every commercial Tamil and Telugu movie to employ only Johnny Master as the choreographer, where the same kind of wild movement and steps that are fully catered towards Instagram reels, where the entire choreography is catered to meeting the 9:16 format versus using the physical space in which the dance is being performed. I snoozed genuinely while watching the music video, and Tamil and Telugu cinema genuinely needs to seek for other choreographers beyond this man. Raghav Juyal should not be crucified for being foolish. Everyone wants to hate on this guy, ridicule him for the massive flop that his movie Bhai Tera Star Hai was after absolutely the intense marketing run that he went on promoting it. I, contrary to what all of you feel, do not want to dunk on Raghav. I actually want all of you to understand that the situation that Raghav finds himself in is consistent with many young actors who achieve success. This is not a dude who has just been handed over success. Yes, this is a guy who I've been seeing since my school days on TV. I saw this guy's audition on Dance India Dance as Croc Crocs, and he has consistently been dancing, hosting, and doing supporting roles since. He got some mainstream attention for movies he was genuinely great in and just got carried away. I think it's absolutely foolish of him to say something like this on stage.
अब मैं सिर्फ हीरो बनूंगा यार मुझे लगता है आ गया है टाइम एंड आई रियली वांट टू बी अ हीरो अ सुपरस्टार एंड आई एम हियर फॉर दैट उससे नीचे मैं नहीं जाऊंगा यार
क्या बात है क्या बात है लवली
तो बाकी की चीजें मेरे पास लाओ ही मत
For a person finally getting mainstream attention, it's absolutely dumb to restrict oneself to only leading roles when one is privileged enough to actively work in the industry. You should literally be saying yes to everything. This is a golden period that is extremely rare for any actor, and I believe Raghav was extremely foolish to say this, and most importantly, is eating humble pie today. But I believe, like many young actors who achieve some form of monetary success and get carried away, Raghav did the same. But I believe this is a phase where I would not want to beat a man when he is down, ridicule him even further where he has no concept of learning what may have gone wrong. I say this also because he is a genuine talent that lights up the screen. I may have a protective stance about Raghav for what he has built, especially where he comes from. I genuinely was face palming when he was going around interviews saying that he only wants to be a hero from now. But I think a case of life and evolving and learning from one's mistakes is key. The same will happen with him. In the pursuit of leading roles, जो अच्छी खासी चलती गाड़ी चल रही है उससे भी sabotage कर दोगे तुम राघव. Ride the wave and coast along. And for the audience, don't completely break a man who is just dreaming. ये हर actor के life में होगा when experiences make you shut up and just focus on work. I think the last and most important point that I want to reference is that there is a lot of criticism around Ramayana and its casting, how every backdrop is CGI and how the promise of being the gold standard globally is not really being met with what we see with the naked eye. And I think Namit Malhotra and his team should genuinely learn from a movie that releases this September that has such absolutely striking and beautiful visuals that one would be so overwhelmed after watching its trailer and exclaim,
Keep one seat.
I'm kidding, by the way. Adi Purush definitely has stiff competition now. And that was a video, guys. Write down in the comments below whether you have some unpopular opinions for me. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle is right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.